What's poppin', everyone? I'm back with Draft League Finals. Made it all the way to the end, and of course, what do I see? The final boss is none other than my best friend Joey PokeaimMD, the last two men standing, and unfortunately, only one of us can win it all. Subscribe to him and subscribe to myself if you haven't already done so. Now, this isn't my first Draft League rodeo with Joey, of course. If you recall, the first time we played Draft League, I dragon-tailed him out of the entire game with a Chinese Emvee Kyurem. Then he got his revenge with a Joey-style Trace Gardevoir. And I got my revenge after that by stomping him with Chinese Emvee Tinglu, and then he got his revenge by 11-0ing me with sheer Final Gambit Quick Draw luck. And now we're in the finals. So, this game could go either way, but his team is incredibly scary. Like, you see the team on the right that just appears: Hisuian Samurott, Annihilape, Heatran, Dragonite, Galarian Slowbro, Hisuian Electrode, Crocodile, Lycanroc Dusk, Delphox Cresselia. Like, these mons are like, they're not even low tier. Like, all these mons are high tier mons. They're so good in draft. And the lowest tier mons that he has in Delphox and Hisuian Electrode are his Terra Captains. So they're automatically like good mons, like really good mons for being Terra Captains in that way. Because of course, as you know, Hoopa and the Dunsparce are some of the best mons on my team, and they're my Terra Captains. Now, I expect wholeheartedly for him to bring all of his Pokemon versus me, literally all of them. Can make an appearance, and I can't see why one wouldn't be good over the other, and that's a little scary. But I wanted to kind of build a team that was a little different than what I've been usually bringing, just to maybe try to catch him off guard. He might not expect some of those sets because, for example, the first three sets that I'm bringing, I don't think I've ever brought before. I've started off with a Hoopa, Choice Scarf Terra Ghost. Not the usual classic Terra Fairy. Choice Scarf Terra Ghost is the first set that I wanted to bring, and it's really good versus his team because of the fact that his only mons that can resist Shadow Ball are Hisuian Samurott and Crocodile, and neither of those have reliable recovery. Neither of those can sponge hits really well on the special side unless they're SPDF oriented or AV, and we can get a lot of chip with our team down to make Hoopa put in the work, because modest Shadow Ball with Terra Ghost, it's really strong. It's really powerful. Another thing to note is that his fastest mon in his team is Hisuian Electrode. Second fastest mon is Lycanroc Dusk. Hisuian Electrode can't really break Hoopa that well because of our naturally good SPDF. So just being like faster than Lycanroc Dusk with a Choice Scarf is great. And this also allows us to run modest. With 234 speed, we just barely outrun Lycanroc Dusk and can Shadow Ball it. And I do like this set quite a bit because, yeah, it also comes with Hyperspace Hole in case of potential submons, and Energy Ball for those Pokemon that resist Shadow Ball, like Hisuian Samurott and Crocodile, so we can catch them on the switch or weaken them severely and knock them out. Then we have Trick for utility. I think it's a great option versus things like Cress, or maybe Galarian Slowbro or Heatran or stuff like that. Even Dragonite for setup, and Dragonite's a huge threat. It's unfortunate that I have to face another Dragonite in playoffs, but you know, you remember last time, it was crazy. Regardless, I think Terra Ghost Hoopa is a really cool mon versus his team. Then we have Screamtail. First time I'm bringing a setup variant of Screamtail. Sub-Calm Mind, I think, is really good versus him, and being able to utilize it, I think, will prove to be effective due to the fact that we can set up pretty easily versus Heatran and Hisuian Electrode and other stuff like that. Crest especially as well, we can Sub-Calm Mind and it can't break our sub or anything like that. So that's going to be nice. Initially I was running a bulk up set on Screamtail, but I'd get Flame Bodied, or I was running Chest Arrest then, and then I get Galarian Slowbro, and yeah, I think Calm Mind is better just to withstand hits, and Stored Power has a lot of mileage after a couple Calm Minds. It does a lot of damage, and it can break through other bulky users. Enough speed to outrun, of course, the Lycanroc Dusk. Because Hisuian Electrode, we have nothing to outrun it, other than running a Choice Scarf Fastmon, but I don't think it's worth doing that, in case he brings Terra Delphox, which could make an appearance. Then we have Ursaluna. We're running a Bulk Up Restock Mono Shadow Claw. This set itself can do really well versus him because he has no Ghost resistances, or sorry, immunities I should say. No Ghost immunities, so we can bulk up all the way and Shadow Claw stuff down. And it has a crit ratio as well, high crit ratio. So it can go through screens or potentially other bulk ups like Annihilape, for example. If it's bulk up Annihilape, we can bulk up ourselves, maybe Shadow Claw crit, and do a lot of work there. Very, very SpDef oriented, so you can sponge Terra Blast Ice from Hisuian Electrode. Like the Terra Delphox and Terra Hisuian Electrode are both special attackers primarily, so running this thing as a SpDef set with Bulk Up is the way to do it, I think. And we get the Guts boost from Rest Sleep Talk, so Shadow Claw becomes stronger while we're asleep. We have Meowscarada next. I think Meowscarada is very essential as a mon that can knock off items, and knocking off items can be great for example, Sub-CM Scream Tail. If we can knock off like a Heatran's Leftovers, for example, then we'll get a lot of damage on Heatran. Any damage stays because there's no recovery, so I like that. And Brick Break for potential screens, Sucker Punch for Quick Draw Slowbro. You already know I had to bring Sucker Punch this time. And so, like, you know, the Quick Draw stuff, like if something like that, because only something like that can happen to me once. I'm not going to be caught off guard by Final Gambit and into Quick Draw again. That's why I adjusted my team accordingly. So you can't Final Gambit the Ghost type, and I have priority, and I have SpDefmon, and yeah, you can't get that lucky again. But I do think Meowscarada is great for the speed. Once again, faster than Lycanroc Dusk, and priority Sucker Punch is great. I do think his Electrode will be Terra Ice for the Zapdos. I think it's gonna be what it's gonna be, but I have enough SpDef to sponge the hit and roost, so I can see what he's gonna try to go for. And yeah, I think Zapdos is great. So like the last two members of the team, essentially the purpose is to spread as much paralysis as possible. If we can do that, we can get either Scream Tail and Ursaluna set up to knock out as many Pokemon as possible, potentially sweep. If we can't, then we have Hoopa, which comes in and spams Terra Ghost Shadow Balls, and it's very fast as well. So yeah, Zapdos, great mon versus things such as the Hisuian Samurott, ground immunity, so that's nice for the Crocodile, as well as I guess also the Annihilate, right? Because if we don't attack Annihilate, Rage Fist does nothing, Drain Punch is nothing, I guess Ice Punch is there, but depending on what he runs, having manual T-Wave is great because of potential protective pads or Punch Glove, so we have that. Finally, the Dunsparce. This mon is designed specifically to deal with Dragonite. Dragonite's a huge threat with Dragon Dance and Dragon Claw, or even Low Kick, for example. That mon is extremely scary. I've lost to it twice in Draft League, and it's incredibly dangerous. Even without Terra, it's incredibly annoying to have to deal with. Numerous sets. So yeah, this set here in particular, I can Glare it, I can Ice Beam it. I have Serene Grace as well for potential hacks of my own, but mainly we'll just be glaring things and trying to slow things down for the team. The Fizz Def on this set is great, and so one concern that I have with his team is that, so I'm not bringing Quackable, and the reason is because I swapped it out last second for Ursaluna. I couldn't even bring Rapid Spin on Quackable either. I was running a different set, which I'll probably mention later. But yeah, like, I don't know, Quackable would have been nice, but he has so many things for it to bring. Like, that's what I'm conflicted about, is like with this team, it's I feel like this team is solid, but I really wanted to put Quackable on this team going into this matchup. But I've already locked in my team, and yeah, I've already locked in my team, and I have to play with this team in particular. But Quackable, I think it would have been a bit of a struggle versus things like Galarian Slowbro, Hisuian Electrode, Terra Delphox, Cresselia, and faster mons, potentially. Annihilate also can sponge hits and Rage Fist. Just annoying in general. But yeah, I do think that the Samurott, Ceaseless Edge, Hazard and stuff is the reason why I'm running half my team with boots, because taking spikes and rocks and stuff like that is going to be tough for this matchup, and Rapid Spinning is impossible when he has Annihilate. It's literally impossible. I've tested in mocks and stuff like that, but that's going to be the team. I do think that as long as we can paralyze things, Scream Tail actually can straight up 6-0. Ursaluna, if we get fortunate with bulk ups and rest stocks and stuff, can 6-0 as well. So let's see how lucky we can get. I think that it's going to be tough. Joey already told me that he's worried about my matchup, like, and I'm worried about his matchup even more, so it could go either way. We'll see what happens, but whenever the game starts, we'll cue into it. And yeah, thank you all for a very enjoyable season. This has been great. I've really enjoyed the season a lot. Whatever happens, happens. First place, second place, we're in the finals, and that's what matters. I'll see you all for the battle starting soon. And so we have made it to the final game of the season, Draft League Finals. Just me and Joey left now, but I'm sure you were expecting as much. Now, if you're watching this and haven't already subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It would mean a lot. Regardless if we win or lose, we are in the top 2, and the next draft league is already in the works, so lots to look forward to. Now, of course, is the moment of truth. Absolute nightmare of a team to prep against, but let's see what he decides to bring, as we have just found him, and it's time. I don't know. Let's see what he brings. He's got the Hisuian Electrode, the Heatran, Hisuian Samurott, Lycanroc Dusk, Annihilate, and Cresselia. Definitely a worst case scenario for sure. He didn't bring the Dragonite. I definitely thought he'd bring Dragonite over Lycanroc, but now that I see Lycanroc and I'm looking at my team, it's like, ooh, that mon actually kind of goes crazy. I switched Quackable out last minute for Ursaluna just because it was a more sturdy mon, especially versus Dragonite matchups. Setup potential was great during mocks, but I kind of wish I had Quackable now, but maybe not because of the Crest. I don't know, this is tough. This is tough. Terra Captain, Hisuian Electrode, so it could be, I think it's going to be Ice. Fairy is another option. I don't think it's going to be Terra Electric, but the Dunsparce should be a good lead here. Yeah, I think Terra Ice makes a lot more sense versus my team because of Zapdos. I think we can lock in this. I've usually been leading to Dunsparce and just trying to glare everything, so I think the game plan for this game, try to glare as much as possible, find a setup opportunity for Screamtail, sub CM. If Heatran's only like Mono Lava Plume, then we should be pretty good to set up versus it. If it's Parad, we can set up versus Crest, we can set up versus Hisuian Electrode. And also Terra Ghost Hoopa looks amazing as well, if Samurott gets weakened. Alright, here we go. PokeaimMD decides to challenge me. This may or may not be my first mistake because he's Mono Luck. He's already, I think, expecting Glare Paralysis. He already told me, I think. So, this Hisuian Samurott could have Taunt, but I'm just going to Glare immediately. I want to figure out what set this this mon is. It's probably going to just Ceaseless Edge Spikes and Hazard Stack versus me, which during prep was definitely difficult because my way of removing hazards is Rapid Spin, and he has the best spin blocker and anti-defogger in the game in Annihilate. So he just Aqua Cutters here. Okay, nice. We get a Paralysis immediately. Beautiful. So, yeah, in this game, I think we just got to get a little fortunate, right? We've been getting pretty fortunate throughout playoffs. Okay, so there are a few plays I can make here. The first one I'm thinking of is maybe he switches out if he is locked in or something. And maybe he goes for a switch into something else where I can Glare. Another option is potentially I can Roost my health back, because looking at Aqua Cutter is a high crit ratio move, right? So I'm not guaranteed to be faster at all. Imagine if he goes Heatran and I click Earth Power. I do think Roost might be the play because I want to keep Dodon healthy as possible, because I can survive hits. I can survive a close combat, pretty sure, from Lycanroc if I'm at full health. Is that Lycanroc? No, that's Crest. Okay. So Cresselia's in. With Samurott being out, in terms of paralysis, I wonder if I could just go hard Screamtail to start setting up. Would that be the play, or should I just Glare this thing first, just to give myself some good chances? I could also go Hoopa. Like, Hoopa's another option. Hoopa, Screamtail. My options are Hoopa, Screamtail, or he might have T-Wave himself, right? So I'm going to Glare here just to paralyze this thing. Yeah, he does. He does have T-Wave. So it's literally a battle of paralysis, and whoever gets more fortunate than the other. And classic Joey, of course. Classic. No, but like, it's literally, it's fine because I'm trying to do the same thing, and he's doing the same thing, and his is working. So, I mean, I can't complain. He might switch out here, but I don't know. That felt silly. Like, I wanted to at least get the paralyze on the Crest too. But he's got the same goal in mind. Yeah, Crest being paired would have been nice, but yeah, he goes back into Samurott. So I assume that now Ceaseless Edge will probably be his move of choice, and that's gonna be really tough to play around. I do have half my team holding boots. I think Zapdos can handle this mon relatively easily. So I'm going to go into it right now. If he gets damage off, I can just roost, and whatever comes in, I can T-Wave right after. Yeah, there's the Cecil's Edge. Doesn't do more than half because of my EV spread, of course. Now, I do think I could discharge here, but I think roosting is the better play. Just because of the fact that Heatran is his best option to bring in if it's Spadef. So I definitely think that this is a move we can make. Because I expect him maybe to go Heatran and probably click Rocks, right? I think that's what he's probably going to try to get Rocks up next. Heatran is a good switch into Zapdos due to its Spadef. So if I can Roost and T-Wave Heatran, I'll have a much easier time against it when I'm trying to set up my Scream Tail. Yeah, so it's going to be Heatran, right? I expected as much. Let's go ahead and T-Wave. The more yellow color we can spread, the better it is for us. So he gets up Rocks, okay, just as I expected. So now what I can do is actually, I can switch into Ursaluna and start bulking up, I think. I can switch into Ursaluna, start bulking up here, and try to be threatening. I feel like his response would be going into Cresselia. Let's see what he goes for, though. He goes for the Magma Storm, okay. Kind of crazy bringing Magma Storm. Trying to hit Magma Storms through Paralysis is insane, but he broke through, which is good for him. Magma Storm is one of those infamous missing moves. So the leftovers recovery is nice that I have on this thing. I was tempted to run a different item, but I do think my play is to bulk up. I do think he's going to switch out, probably fearing the Earthquake. Maybe he'll go into Cress, but he does see leftovers, so we'll see what happens. If Annihilate is Fizz Def, he could probably take the hit and try to Drain Punch. Or he might expect that, right? Goes into Annihilate here. This also could potentially be Encore Annihilate, but if it is Encore Annihilate, I would rather stay in to get the additional leftovers because there's rocks and spikes on my side. So I might just bulk up again. Oh, I'll lock in a Shadow Claw in case he is. I think in case he's Encore, it would just make me bulk up again. But if he's not Encore and he's like U-turn, if he tries to like U-turn or try to predict my switch to Zapdos or even goes for the fighting attack, I live a close combat at +1. And a Drain Punch as well, which he might be. Yeah, because like, this is tough. If he has Encore on this set, it's going to be tough to play around. If he brings the wrong set, then yeah. I mean, I'd rather just stay in to get leftovers chip. Chip recovery, I should say. Yeah, it's going to be Encore. I mean, I figured as much, but it's kind of hard to play around this Mon. So the bulk up is fine. And he can always continuously lock me into this move, so now I'm forced to switch out, but I do get the additional recovery from leftovers. I can always switch back in on Heatran and rest. Try to get this thing going later. So yeah, we just go Zapdos here. He also might double. I could see a double into Hisuian Electrode. Is it going to be Hisuian Electrode? Let's see. This Mon is Hisuian Electrode. Okay. So it could be Terra Ice with... If it's Terra Ice choice specs, that could be really bad. Because why wouldn't he bring Terra Ice? Let's go to done. Gonna Volt Switch. And that does not... I don't think that's Choice Specs damage. Don't think it is. Does a decent amount though, so it's definitely offensive. It is definitely, certainly offensive. And versus this, we can just glare, I think, right? I think we could just glare on Lycanroc. I mean, it could close combat here, but I want to figure out what item it is. Oh, he doubles out. Okay, nice. So we get a paralysis on something, unless it's, yeah, so it's going to be the Electrode again. Could have also Ice Beamed, I guess, too. Fully parried. Okay, well, it doesn't matter for this one. I can Roost now, though. Or I could Ice Beam. I could Ice Beam if he wants to stay in. Volt Switch is out. So we can get a little chip on whatever comes in. Roosting might have been nice, but I have tested versus variants of Hisuian Electro that ran Taunt. So I think my play is to go hard Meowscarada. Let's make an aggressive hard Meowscarada play. Because then we can start putting in some work here. Maybe knock off some items here and there. Goes for the Encore. Okay, so it's an Encore set. He's running double Encore, so he's actually really prepared for my setup. He's super prepared. But at least we'll be able to get rid of an item. Yeah, because there's no way he stays in, right? Oh, he does stay in. Ooh. He stayed in versus me. I could have Flower Trick to knock this out immediately. That's crazy. That is insane. Goes for the Aerial Ace. Okay. So maybe I guess he was, maybe he did the calc and he might have lived Flower Trick. So this way at least I had my type changed from Protean. Would he have lived Flower Trick from that range? Because, or was he just trying to sack? I have no idea. It could have been bulkier, so maybe he did live Flower Trick and that's why he stayed in. So he switches into Heatran. I think, let's see what item this is first. Leftovers. Okay, so I think we'll have an easier time setting up Scream Tail if we can knock off this Leftovers, because then it's going to be taking chip without recovery. Let's just knock off here. Because right now at this point in time, I'm trying to set the stage for Scream Tail to come out in Subcom Mind. But to do that, I'd want as much weakened as possible. So it's like a late game kind of mon. I'm surprised he went back into this though. But we can probably just break here in case he tries to go back into Heatran. I don't think he would. I think this is going to be a sack right now. Yeah, gone. Cool, cool. And so this mon is back. This monstrosity. This monster. Alright. Yeah, this is a tough mon to deal with, but I do think that maybe we sacked the Dunsparce here, because mainly the Dunsparce set was for, in case he brought Dragonite, because I had Fizdef, Ice Beam, and Glare, because Dragonites were giving me trouble. So I'm going to switch out. Yeah, I don't need the Dunsparce as much now, I think. So, yep, there's the Volt Switch. And I can even save the Dunsparce later for a sack, so I don't have to sack it just immediately now. What does he bring in? Maybe he brings in an Annihilate or something at this point. It's gonna be an Annihilate. Okay, cool. So, I could Glare here or save it as a sack and go Zapdos. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, let's switch out. Because there's no chance he doesn't just try to attack here. There's the Drain Punch. And no Static Paralysis, but he could also be Punching Glove. Which I was kind of thinking about. I think he's going to go Heatran, so I can probably Discharge for some damage. I could probably Discharge for damage. Because... Okay, if I attack here... And he goes... If he goes Heatran, which I think he might, right? That's the... Yep, Heatran. I can get a little bit of chip damage on this thing. Now the cool thing is that Ursaluna... I'm pretty sure Ursaluna can survive a Magma Storm and get a rest. Yeah, from this range... After taking Rock and Spike, Ursaluna can survive a Magma Storm and get a faster rest off. So I'm going to do that. Due to Heatran being paralyzed, Ursaluna is faster. Yeah, Ursaluna lives from this range easily. It gets fully parried, but that's fine. If he was going for Magma Storm on this turn, then it would not have mattered. I don't think. Because that's the... It does seem like it's the only good attacking move that it has, right? So, let me rest up here. So he switches out. Goes into... I think that's the Annihilate. You know what would be a crazy play? Is if I called him not encoring here. And maybe trying to predict Zapdos coming in. And if I Sleep Talk. Wouldn't that be a fire play if he doesn't encore here? And he clicks like a double or something into something else? Because I feel like he's going to try to capitalize on Zapdos coming in, right? He just Drain Punch. So, I mean, I called him not going for Encore, though. Which is kind of nice. Do I get the Shadow Claw Rest Talk? Shadow Claw will do a lot of damage. If he's not Fizz Def, it'll do like at least a lot. Nah, I rolled the rest. That's fine. Rest in peace. Yeah, so that's a little unfortunate, but at least we didn't power up Rage Fist, I guess. But I would have just sacked it Unsparse and yeah, it would have been fine. Yeah, a little unfortunate. I think any kind of damage on Annihilate would be good for setting up with Scream Tail. Just means we have to set up less to knock it out, right? He does have Stone Edge though, which is pretty interesting, but I don't know. I don't think I'm faster than him. I don't think I'm faster, but I'm just gonna bluff that I'm faster and him make him switch out. Nice. Yeah, he was definitely scared of this Mon. Goes into Lycanroc here. Lycanroc is a huge threat. I got like no switch-ins for this Mon. Stone Edge Close Combat. This Mon is tough. Like, against my whole draft too. Like I was looking at my draft and Lycanroc is a huge threat, but then after like a lot of changes, I don't think I kept anything guaranteed to destroy it, so we'll have to see what happens. So So we'll sack the Dunsparce here. He decides to go for the Stone Edge. Does hit his Stone Edge. Okay. And now is an interesting turn. We have two options, I think. First option is to go Hoopa, Terra Ghost Shadow Ball, and start punching some holes since Hisuian Samurot's gone. Second option is going Meowscarada and clicking Knockoff, which from 178 HP, a Life Orb Lycanroc can't knock me out with a Celerock if it's Jolly Nature. And yeah, we're pretty out of range of that. But it's good to have Sucker Punch for the late game, especially versus Hisuian Electrode, which is going to be faster than Hoopa. I feel like maybe going Hoopa, because Hoopa lives a Celerock too. Hoopa does live a Celerock. So now let's see. Actually, wait a second. Does Lycanroc get a Sucker Punch? Oh shoot. I was thinking of Celerock, but it may get Sucker Punch. I don't want to psych myself out or anything, but if it has Sucker Punch, that actually could be really bad. Oh shoot. I just realized this now. I'm like, okay, Celerock is the only priority, but I think it does get Sucker Punch, potentially. I could double the Meow, predicting him to switch out, but then I just took damage on Hoopa for no reason. If he switches out, it's like, I might as well just stay in an attack, right? Might as well. Because, like, I could double to Meow. Whatever. I'm gonna do it. I think I'm just gonna Terra Shadow Ball. I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna commit to my play. Might as well. Then he switches. Nice. Okay, so it's not Sucker Punch. That's good. Or he might expect Terra Fairy. Goes into Heatran. And now for the first time this season, I'd like to present to you all Terra Ghost Hoopa. Not Terra Fairy. Looks so cool. See how much damage this does. Does a lot. Do we get a Spit F drop at least? No, we don't, but if Heatran gets paralyzed here, I think Hoopa actually can just potentially win the game, right? Because he'd have to go Electrode, Volt Switch out, sack something, go back Electrode, Volt Switch out, sack something else. Because if we literally get a para here, I think we can actually win the game if we get a para here, potentially. So close! Ah, so close. He has Heavy Slam. Oh no. Oh no. He broke through and went for Heavy Slam. That's actually such good prep against my Screamtail, which is sub CM. That's such good prep. I would never have been able to set up at all then. Wow. I'm upset that he broke through that though. I'm a little upset that he broke through that. I thought I was gonna get a little fortune at least with a paralysis, right? At least a little, but nah. No fortune at all. Like, I guess I could have switched out of Hoopa, but then I'd have to come back in for rocks and stuff. I thought this would be the play, but like, I wouldn't have taken much from Magma Storm. Magma Storm could have missed too. But now he gets to go Lycanroc and Revenge. A little unfortunate. Yeah, I can't switch out at this point because of hazards. Hazards are so annoying versus myself. For this one in particular, I don't have defog on my entire draft. But I think that's because all the best ones were taken. There's also a Define and Annihilate on the field still. So here, I think we have to go into... I think we always have to go Meow. Right? I think we always have to go Meow, because if we go into Screamtail and try to set him now, he could Stone Edge, he might even crit me, and then he'll Accelerock right after. I think it's going to be a 2-hit KO anyways. So, I'm going to go Meow. I'll be able to live this hit. I can get a big knockoff going. His only remaining mons are this Lycanroc, Hisuian Electrode, Cress, and Annihilate, all of which probably don't appreciate knockoffs that well. If we knock off Annihilape's item, it has the very high possibility of being staticked. And if we knock off, a knockoff into Sucker Punch should knock out Hisuian Electrode. Crest getting knocked off is always nice too. Let's see what he goes into. It's gonna be, I think, the Electrode, right? So we're gonna knock off and figure out what item this was and why its Volt Switch did a little bit more than it should have to my thing. Oh no, the static. Oh no. It should be in range of Sucker Punch though, I think. Oh, that's so annoying. But he got what I was trying to get versus him, I guess, with my Zapdos. The static. What goes around comes around, folks. You know? It is what it is. Sucker Punch, I think, should knock it out from this range, though. Knockoff did so much. Like, you saw how much Knockoff did? Terra Fairy? Oh, shoot. Okay, but I'm pretty sure Sucker knocks it out from this range. Like, you saw how much Knockoff did? And this is still a stab Sucker Punch. Never mind. I don't know if it would have knocked it out or not, but I think it might have. I'm pretty sure it might have. Because that knockoff did a lot. And even if it's resisted... If it's resisted... No, knockoff... Because that Mon... Electrode was below 25%, right? Oh, no, it wasn't. It was like below something. I'll have to look at the calc on his side. But now is the opportunity to set up with Screamtail. Volt Switch is out, okay. Goes into Annihilate. You want to see a fire play though? A fire play would be to Calm Mind up again, because I think he is not going to click Encore here and he's probably going to go for the Rage Fist, which I do live. I do, of course, live that. Ooh, this would be interesting. This would be very interesting though. Because I'm pretty sure I can Calm Mind up again and then knock off the Annihilate with Store Power. I have Special Attack Investment on my set. I don't think he's going to Encore here. Let's Calm Mind up again, I think is the play. And I'm going to live this Rage Fist, so... Because it's unboosted. There's the Rage Fist. Yup, perfect. Very nice. Now I can store power here. No, it barely lived. Come on. This thing is bulky. Come on. Why did it have to live? You know, if it didn't live, then I'm pretty sure I'd be out of range of, I think I'd be out of range of a Celerock, right? I feel like I might have been. Oh, yeah, like, that's... no. So if I'm slower, I probably have to T-Wave, right? Because the Rage is going to be doing a lot. I'm actually faster than it. I'm not even running as much speed on Zapdos. Like, I thought he'd be faster for sure. But I guess he lived that, so yeah. That's annoying. So yeah, Rage Fist doing a lot. I have to get myself healthy and pray that he gets parried so that I could potentially dodge Lycanroc. Potentially I can dodge Lycanroc, and I feel like there was if certain things went our way, I think we actually could have won this game. I don't think we can win it now because of Lycanroc in the back. Like, the turn with Hoopa was pivotal. The turn with Screamtail was pivotal. He Drain Punches here. Yeah, I think we just knock this out now, right? Oh, okay, 1%. Okay, sure. That's fine. You know what? It's fine. I accept defeat. I accept the defeat. That's crazy, though. Yeah, Lycanroc is gonna put in the work in the end. I do think if we knocked out Annihilate with Screamtail, we probably potentially won, right? Maybe, I don't know. It's tough to say. I think also Hoopa, if Heatran got paired on the Hoopa, no, but that's just me, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Other than a pair here and there. Stone Edge he hits. He actually has hit all of his Stone Edges so far. Magma Storm he only missed one, but that was versus Ursaluna, which would have lived in rest anyways. Yeah, and he's probably gonna have close combat as well. Tough, 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 tough. And that will be good game at aim, I think. Yep, good game at aim. Good game at aim. All right. This was way tougher of a matchup than I anticipated. Did not feel in control in this game as much. I felt that he had control of me. And the 6 that he brought, I think, were pretty extremely difficult to play around. I struggled in this match for sure. Like, this game, I definitely struggled. I think that it was just tough to pilot around the 6 that he brought. Like, I think if one of the pairs went our way, it could have been a different game. But I do also feel his prep was probably much better than mine. Like, I've played Joey numerous times. Inside Draft League, outside of Draft League. I've beaten him, he's beaten me. And most of these times I've felt really comfortable in each of the matchups, right? I've been able to destroy him before. He's been able to send me packing as well. But yeah, I think this was the first time that I felt my hands were pretty tied in this matchup, like with what he brought. And of course him breaking through paralysis and not getting fortune. I mean, I can't of course be like, oh, if I got fortune, I could have won this game. Anyone could win the game with fortune. But I do feel like I didn't really get a lot out of my team for the finals match. And I think that's mainly due to the fact that he prepped really well and he brought the right mons. And I think his team was just, his overall draft was just good into mine. I mean, you could argue that my draft was good into his as well, but you could see the 6 that I brought and the 6 that he brought, and you let me know if you could pilot it better with the 6 that I brought. But maybe I could have switched it up. A last minute change that I wanted to make was to bring Fling Big Nugget Quackleval after the video I just did, but I hadn't tested enough to feel comfortable, and he had way too many things for Quackleval. Like, Cresselia was a huge mon that could survive a Swords Dance boosted Big Nugget Fling, and it could have been Colbur, it could have been Rocky Helmet as well. Super annoying. I mean, he had like a lot of great options, like Hisuian Electrode, and I'm even surprised he didn't bring Galarian Slowbro after the first time, but I guess it's kind of like a the Dunsparce thing, right? Where I 6-0 with the Dunsparce, and then he was over prepping for the Dunsparce. I didn't over prep for Galarian Slowbro, but like I definitely anticipated that mon to make an appearance. It would have been difficult for Quackleval to break through a lot of stuff on his team, so that's why I swapped for Ursaluna, where Ursaluna was like, you know, the first Pokemon that I picked up for the draft. I had to bring it for the finals. I just had to. But yeah, he definitely outperformed me this game in particular. I'm okay with second place versus Joey, you know, of all people. Like, if I lost in quarterfinals, I'd have been low-key pretty pissed. Semifinals, I'd have been like, whatever, I guess. Top 4 is fine. Finals is like, okay, I'm literally top 2. I have all the videos for the entire series of playoffs, so I can cash in the big nugget. It would have been nice to eventually, you know, win the whole thing after so long, but at this point, it feels like I'm literally playing roulette because, you know, anyone can bring anything. When it comes down to your opponent not bringing the right 6 mons or bringing the right 6 mons, it's tough. I think that Joey brought the right 6 mons, or maybe I brought the wrong 6 mons. It could have been that. I do believe, though, that this is Joey's first Draft League win in the last 8 or 9 years. I think the only other time he won was versus those UCL guys. I feel like many of them were genuinely bad at mons, right? Not to be mean or anything, but or am I just tripping? I feel like, you know, it may not be as much of a win to brag about, but this one, for him, this win is very solid. I do want to note that winning this wouldn't have been my first Draft League win. I actually have won another Draft League before. I started doing draft on YouTube, so like 7 years ago, sooner than Joey's last win. And actually, I might even make a video showing off replays of those games. I feel like it makes some entertaining content. If you want to take a trip back through memory lane with me, watch my old Draft League win. Let me know if you want to see that. Now, there are two big shoutouts I want to give. Firstly, to Joey, of course. We help each other test and prep, but we didn't really get to do that much for the playoffs since I had to fight Mephisto for semis, a neutral party since he's both of our friends, and Joey himself for finals. But all throughout the regular season and quarterfinals, he made time to help me, of course, so I appreciate him very much. He's one of my best friends. Please do subscribe to him if you're not already. Go watch his side, and we're getting pretty close to him reaching a channel member goal where we're going to be doing Cooking with Emvee, a stream at my place. If you remember from the old days, there was a very old stream, Cooking with Emvee. It was a long, long time ago, and we're going to bring it back again if he hits that member goal, which is pretty close. So yeah, go subscribe to him, go support him as well. And secondly, I want to shout out my buddy Emil. He was in the last league that we were a part of, and he's been helping both myself and Joey in our draft games. And he chose to help me for the finals instead of Joey, since Joey had a plethora of other people helping him at his disposal. Good guy who invested a lot of time into helping me test. So definitely subscribe to him as well. And I want to include a segment at the end here to recap the season. Overall, I think this was easily one of my stronger draft teams. I feel pretty comfortable in team building for most of the season, perhaps apart from the finals match because, Joey's team felt quite good into mine. Our draft was really well-rounded. It had a ton of versatility, which I think is the key to doing well in draft leagues. Picking mons that can have at least 10 different sets you can run with it. And Terra Captains, the Dunsparce, and Hoopa. Hands down some of my favorite Pokemon I've ever used in a draft league. And I was the one who actually gave this league the idea to use lower tier Terras instead of higher tier Terra monsters, and I'm glad that it got implemented because draft has never felt more refreshing to see these lower tier mons at the top. The Dunsparce was my kill leader, which is crazy to say out loud, but it's true. That mon got the most knockouts on my draft for the entire season. Just to highlight some of the most enjoyable Pokemon from the season, my favorite sets that I brought, literally every single Dunsparce set ever. Coil, Dragontail, and then the Scarf Terra Normal in particular were a special kind of evil. Also, the Chinese AV Hoopa sets were so much fun to use. Absolutely love my mascot. Quackable was nothing special, but somehow always ended up doing the most incredible things for us in a few of our matchups. And then Ursaluna I felt was kind of underwhelming as my first pick. I think in draft, the AV sets are the best way to run it. Maybe bulk up set in the right circumstances, but in all my mocks, offensive variant with Flame Orb was really not as effective as you'd think, since preparation by the opponent, it's draft league, right? Draft league, people can prep. The preparation by the opponent would often cause it to severely underperform offensively. So I think capitalizing on its defensive sets, in my opinion, is the best way to run Ursaluna. Other than that, special mentions to Screamtail and Meowscarada. Both of those mons were an absolute pleasure to use as well. And that's kind of like my most memorable mons of the season. And in terms of specific matches, also Zapdos. Zapdos is really good. I would definitely draft Zapdos again. That mon, static and stuff like that, really, really good mon. In terms of the matches though, I feel like we had some of the most entertaining games this season, right? Favorite games that I played that I found the most entertaining were Coil the Dunsparce 6-0 sweep, Quackable sweep, versus Drew, who didn't bring the Sun team that one time, getting 11-0'd by Final Gambit. I lost that game versus Joey, but come on, that was a super entertaining game, wasn't it? Semifinals game versus Mephisto, which was really solid. Really, really solid. I think one of my favorite games this season. And then maybe also the game versus Shuckle King, where I think it was really down to the wire and no hacks on either side. So those are my most favorite games of this season. And that concludes my, brief recap of the season of the PPL. Next draft league is getting underway. We have all the players for it and the league name as well. I'm not going to spoil it or anything like that just yet, but You'll be seeing some announcements eventually in the near future. We have all the stuff getting ready behind the scenes, and expect the next draft league to drop maybe in about a month, maybe even less than a month. It's gonna reflect the DLC drop, which comes out in a couple of weeks, and there's already information being revealed on that too. So I'm pretty excited. We'll get a brand new team, some new lower tier Terra captains. Definitely lower tier Terra is gonna be the standard for all the draft leagues that I'm part of, at least. Joey and I are gonna make sure that lower tier Terra captains is what it's gonna be, because I think that's the most fun way to play draft, is to have Terra captains being lower tiers, because it just, first of all, it balances out the draft. Second of all, it makes these underrated mons shine. Feel free to suggest any Pokemon you might want to see me draft in the next upcoming draft league. And definitely, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on the amazing content coming up. With that being said, thank you all very much for the support. Good game and same. Congratulations on the win. And congratulations to me for second place. I'll take second place. That's fine. Still a winner. It's been a fantastic season. And so I'll see you all on the next one really soon. Peace.